Well, it's always so good to be with you here on the radio, EWTN Global Catholic Radio at that. I am Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani. Most of the show team is in place. Rich is enjoying a few extra days with his lovely wife and two beautiful little girls. So we have Jeff Burson on the controls producing the show today. Also, probably keeping one eye on social media. And Debbie, Ryan Penny will screen the calls. So
that's right.
We are all staffed up and ready to go. All we need is the Take Two family to join us, as always.
Well, you're going to introduce the topic because it's your topic, and you wanted to tell a little background story of why you came up with this and put this on the show calendar. I think it's interesting. Although I will tell you, we have other folks weighing in thinking that the title means something else. So you go ahead and set the stage, and we'll follow your lead.
Well, this does happen occasionally. We put a title up there, we describe it, and it can go one way or another. So, folks, here's what we want to talk about today. Have you accidentally, serendipitously, providentially, just kind of come along the path of somebody that you knew maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, an old high school classmate, a college buddy, maybe somebody that you were really good friends with, and then your job took one or the other of you, you moved away, and you just weren't able to stay in touch. You know, it could have been through a class reunion, but those are the times and places when we expect to see these kinds of people. But have you I guess we'll just say accidentally or providentially crossed paths with someone that you knew and were good friends with a long time ago. Right. And we just want to talk about that. How did that go? Did you kind of pick up right where you left off? Was it a little bit awkward? Had you changed a lot? Had they changed a lot? Did you recognize them at first and vice versa? So that's what we're talking about today. Here's the number, 833-288-3986.
So the number to dial if you want to share your story is 833-288 EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Okay, don't leave us in suspense any longer. What happened to you? Obviously, if you put this on the calendar, it must have happened to you.
Well, there's a couple things. You know, I love to listen to music. As people know, I was a disc jockey for many, many years. And one of my favorite songs, really, it's kind of a sad song. It's Dan Fogelberg, Same Old Lang Syne. You familiar with that song? Because we're going to be starting to hear it around the holiday time of the year. When he says, you know, I met my old lover in the grocery store. Snow was falling Christmas Eve. I stole behind her in the frozen foods and touched her on the sleeve. She didn't recognize my face at first. Then they go on and have this. Well, they share some beers in a car, actually, but they hadn't seen each other for many, many years. And in fact, the song says she didn't recognize his face at first. And what happened to me, I fly a lot, as Debbie, you know, and many other people know, and I was on a certain airline, and I went to the back of the plane to use the facilities, and there was this rather large duffel bag on the floor, and it had a name tag on it. And the name tag was the exact name of someone I had been in junior high school with.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I thought, and it's not like, you know, Bob Smith. You know, it's a Filipino name.
Okay.
So I thought there can't be too many people by this name in the world, and so I asked the flight attendants. I says, "Do you know where this gentleman lives and where he's from?" And where they didn't know a whole lot. So, but I finally deduced that it was him. And so when he finally came back to the back of the plane, I played a little game with him. You know, I kind of led on that I knew him, but he tried to make him, you know, guess who I was. And I finally said, you know, North Beach Junior High School. And whatever the year was, and his eyes flew open, and he recognized me. We didn't have a lot of time to chat then, but we exchanged phone numbers. We stayed in touch, and that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about today, folks. It's just out of the blue. You're going, I don't believe this. I mean, I hadn't seen this person in years. Maybe it's a distant family member. So let's talk about this and how the experience went for you, and if you've maintained that connection since then at 833-288-3986.
Okay, so when I first saw the topic, before I read your synopsis, I was like, okay, I have to call Kristen. So I texted Kristen. I said, Kristen, look, our topic for Monday is still friends after all these years, and we've been friends for 50 plus years. And then I realized that that's not the right... That's not where you were going with it, but I understand it. But it's true, though. You can cross paths, especially with folks that travel for business, or, you know, just when people are all moving around the country, and you do cross paths with people from your past, I should say. The interesting thing about it, though, Jerry, is I find that when people do have these moments, how they pick up where they left off, from junior high or high school or college. It's like it never stopped. Have you ever had that encounter where it was just you meet somebody after a couple years and it's almost like you continued the conversation from 6 years earlier? It's really interesting how that happens. Is it familiarity? What is that makes that happen where you don't have to like reintroduce yourself? It's an interesting dynamic. A lot of movies have been made about this. So we want to hear your real life story. Please call in. Like we always say, don't get started with your Thanksgiving week yet. 833-288-3986. We always tell you not to get started with your regular schedule until you're finished with take 2. We need your help.
And this might take a little bit of pondering, a little bit of thinking to recall when something like this has happened in your life. Maybe it happened recently. Maybe it's still very, very fresh. But again, we're talking about being still friends after all these years. Have you sort of accidentally, quote unquote, bumped into somebody that you knew? Maybe it was like Dan Fogelberg. Maybe it was someone that you dated a long time ago.
Right.
Again, maybe it was a high school classmate, a college buddy, or a BFF, or and then just maybe it was a one-time thing. Like I said, Debbie, I haven't stayed in close touch with this flight attendant friend that we were really good friends. We were very tight in 7th grade. We did correspond a little bit, but then, you get back to life and things kind of move on. But for some people, though, when you have these, I think, providential reconnections, you go, wow, this is just a great opportunity. This person is back in my life, and you want to keep it that way,
Mm-hmm. Well, I shared this. Remember I told you about when I was watching EWTN television, they do those 2-3 minute saints where they have a person that acts out the saints and it does, what do you call that? What do you, it's like a little, what do you call it? Not a vignette.
Skit or something?
It's like a little skit, yeah. And they have a 2-minute thing on different saints. And I was watching this one actor portray this one saint, and I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh, he looks so familiar. He looks like a really good friend of mine from high school, and it was. So, and we happen to be Facebook friends. So I said, John, was that you that was on EWTN television? He goes, yeah. I go, when were you going to tell me? I mean, he knew I had the radio show. You'd think we would have connected by now, but it was kind of funny. Anyway, it was cool to reconnect.
Yeah, and social media is a great way where we find people that we haven't really associated with or corresponded with for a long time. So maybe somebody's Facebook or social media feed has popped up on yours, and you just say, oh, my word, I haven't talked to them for years, and you get reconnected, become Facebook friends or followers on Twitter or whatever. So let's talk about this topic today with your help. Take Two Family, 833-288-39.
Call to communion.
Through EWTN Radio, we talk to audiences all over the world. One thing I've found out is everybody in the whole world has the same set of questions. They live the same human life. They all want meaning, they all want love, they all want significance, they want forgiveness. That's the most fascinating thing to me. The same answers work wherever you are throughout the world, because we're all children of God.
Called to Communion with Dr. David Anders. This afternoon, 2 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
This is Rich Jesse, producer of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, inviting you to join us for a very special EWTN Thanksgiving. Call the EWTN listener comment line at 205-795-5773 and tell us your memories, traditions, and what you're grateful for. Then, listen on Thanksgiving Day as we share your message with our global audience. From our EWTN family to yours, God bless.
I'm Jerry Usher.
And I'm Debbie Georgiani. We want to tell you about the Inspired by Faith Book Club.
Join us as we gather together and read a featured inspirational book each month and engage in meaningful discussions together.
Want to participate? The details are simple and can be found at jerryanddebbie.com by clicking on the Book Club tab.
Invite your friends and let's spend some quality time in fellowship with the Inspired by Faith Book Club at jerryanddebbie.com. Okay, Mondays Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. It's going to be a short week for most of us, probably for you as well. I think we're recorded on Thursday and I believe on Friday as well. So let's get into as many great conversations as we can before then. And today talking about remaining and being still friends after all these years. Maybe it was a social media reconnection with somebody or just actually physically coming in across somebody's path that you hadn't seen for a long, long time. Let's talk about this and see how that went. And then maybe you've just really renewed that friendship, that relationship. 833-288-3986.
Did you mention EWTN News Nightly?
No, I was going to, but I'll be happy to let you do that.
Oh, yeah, because EWTN News Nightly, tonight, 9 Eastern Time. Okay, folks? So EWTN News Nightly, don't forget to check it out. But I also wanted to mention the San Antonio pilgrimage that we've got coming up December 6th through the 8th. We're going to be posting the itinerary. Folks, we've got great block rooms. We'd love to see you in San Antonio. We're going to the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Little Flower. We're going to the San Fernando. Do you say San Fernando or is it San Fernando? Fernando?
So I would say San Fernando, yeah.
San Fernando. Is it tomato? The cathedral. We're going to on the riverboat cruise, which I'm so excited about. The San Antonio Riverwalk, the Alamo. We're going to see relics and all sorts of things. We're going to be together. Food, fellowship. It's going to be amazing. JerryandDebbie.com. That's when it's going to be posted. Hopefully today or tomorrow, the latest. But just block out that weekend if you can meet us in San Antonio. We'd love to see you for all of it or part of it. And like I said, we got $99 rooms at the Courtyard by Marriott. Near the airport. Very excited about it, Jerry. I think we're going to have a really good group, maybe 30, 40, 50 people there. So it'll be fabulous.
Yeah, those rooms, by the way, are for those who have to drive in from outside the area. If you live in that area, it's even more attractive, more appealing for you to come because you just show up at the different shrines and events and things, and you're just able to drive home and sleep in your own bed. And everybody, you're on your own. Any travel expenses, lodging, meals, and stuff like that. Debbie and I are just, what we do is we just post where we're going to be, and hopefully you will join us. And we had a great group in the Northeast at the shrines of the North American Martyrs and National Divine Mercy Shrine. So this ought to be
And we're
really
bringing
good.
some surprises. Oops.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
So again,
It's Thanksgiving week. I'm
JerryandDebbie.com.
silly. Go ahead.
Yep, JerryandDebbie.com. The itinerary will be there very, very soon within the next 24 hours. We're confident of that. Okay, we got a lot of people who want to talk about this topic today.
Can I just say one thing? I love stuffing. Can I just say that?
Do you?
I love Thanksgiving stuffing. What is the deal with Thanksgiving? I just love it. Do you like it? Is that your favorite part of the meal?
I wouldn't say favorite. No. I would say some dark meat, nice moist dark meat off the turkey.
Really?
Stuffing is good. Yeah, mashed potatoes are good.
Green beans.
Yams, green beans,
Pumpkin pie. You can
olives,
see
cranberry
what
sauce.
Jerry and I think about all the time. Food, and more food. Okay, Ann, you are first up here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You're listening on Sirius XM 130, and you're calling in from Los Angeles, California. Hi, Ann. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning, you guys. This is
Hi, Ann.
Ann, the St. Joseph lover.
Oh, good
hi,
deal.
Ann.
St. Joseph.
Yes. How
How's
are
it going,
you?
guys? Good.
Good.
I know. Brian asked me, are you a first-time caller? I go, no, I think I've called 3 or 4 times already. Anyways, I love the subject, and I love what God has done. I had a friend in high school. We were very close, and she was even in my quinceañera. So, of course, graduation, you go on and whatever. Well, I don't know what happened, but a few years after graduation, I think it must have been like 3 or 4 years, all of a sudden I just started dreaming her. And I was like, I have to find her. Something's wrong. I have to find her. And I kept asking all the friends that I still talk to if there was a way to find her, and nobody knew. And I just kept, it was like getting to a panic stage because I was going like maybe 6-7 months of just dreaming her. So finally I just said, I have to pray. Something's wrong. I just have to pray because I can't find her, and she keeps coming in my dreams. So years later, we went and we ran into each other at our high school reunion. So I told her, I said, I don't know what happened. I go, I don't know why we're still so connected. I said, but, there was a time when I just kept dreaming you, and I just started praying because I didn't know what was wrong and how to find you. And she told me, well, what time was that? And I told her the year. She goes, oh, my God. She goes, that's when I was going through my divorce. She goes, it turned out the guy, it was abusive. So she ended up divorcing him. I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe how God kept us together even without seeing each other. So we've become close again, and I even sponsored her to be to make a Cursillo. But we're
Wow.
always like in sync with each other, and we're like, I don't know why we just, it's so funny. Even both of us are so amazed that we're still so connected after all these years.
Well, but see, Anne, and Jerry, tell me if you're seeing this as well. Okay, yes, it's beautiful that you reconnected this friendship and you have this connection, but I see it from a much a deeper spiritual sense. I mean, look how God knew, Anne, that you would, having these dreams about your friend from your past, and then all of a sudden you would turn it to prayer. Okay, she obviously needed prayer during that difficult time going through the divorce and that abusive situation. Okay, see the connectedness that I see is for all of us, that we all are connected at that deeper spiritual level. Did you pick up on that? Did you and your friend pick up on that as well, in addition to the friendship level?
Now we're seeing that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now we both realize it's God all along.
Yep, absolutely. What do you think about that, Jerry? I mean, there's a reason we reconnect.
Yeah, I was relating to the... I was absolutely relating, Anne, to your story about the recurring dreams. I have had that with certain people, certain things. I don't know that I've had the reconnection that you have had, but what it does signal to me oftentimes is, like you said, there's something maybe not right here, or this person needs something, and so without even really overanalyzing, I just say I'm gonna just pray for them. I pray for them in the middle of the night when I wake up, and maybe on an ongoing basis. And wow, it's just the way this turned out for you, Anne. Wow, that's got to be just still blowing your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And even when we joke and laugh, we're like, I can't believe it's still, after all this time, we're still so close. And so we're very happy, and we're very blessed, and we're just very happy that we reconnected and gone even more further. Because in Cursillo, when you sponsor a person, you're kind of considered like their godparent. So I always tease her and say, oh, I love being your Nina, because it's like, I feel so lucky that God brought you back, and I was able to share Cursillo with you, and she loves her Cursillo weekend. So it just makes it even more like meaningful.
Well, that's the other thing too, Anne. I wanted to say something about that. When you sponsor someone when you're a godparent, or you sponsor someone in confirmation or Cursillo, or you sponsor them in some other retreat or something of that has a nature of like continual coaching, if you will, after you go through these encounters or these retreats, I want to say something. There is a definite bond that happens, and we don't ever know. Really, I mean, with you and your friend, Anne, it's awesome because you have that constant connection. But sometimes after we sponsor, people move away, they change direction in their lives, things change. But there is that connection. And I think it's important that we continually remember them in prayer. And here's, real quickly, if I may say this, one of my confirmation, one of my kids that was in junior high and then high school in religious education, we became very close. His name is Jacob. I've talked about him. I think he's even been on the show, Jerry. He actually texted me this weekend, and he said that he was at his nephew's confirmation, and he remembered that he picked a great sponsor. Well, he picked me as a sponsor, and I thought that was really sweet. And I said, Jacob, it was such an honor that you picked me. I said, we're forever bonded. And he said, I realized that. And he remembered that at his nephew's confirmation. So I just wanted to say, Anne, in kind of in affirmation of what's happened with you and your friend, also what happened with me this weekend, Jerry talking about having prayers, having people come into his mind, in sleep time, and then to pray for them. We are connected, and we need to remember that. And if we forget that opportunity, or we miss that opportunity, it's truly that, a missed chance to really spiritually let people, how do you say it, flourish, if you will. And we can do that through our prayers. What do you think about that, Anne? I know I'm getting a little bit deeply theological here, but you see where I'm going with this?
I agree. No, I agree completely, because, it's like, almost like you want to say, how could you honestly have any other way of explaining it if it wasn't because of God?
Right. And so that's the importance of prayer. What do you think, Jerry? What do you think about that?
No, I think there's a very spiritual connection, theme running through all this entire conversation here. And, we need to want the best, the good of the other, no matter who they are. And obviously friends especially, we certainly want to go out of our way to affirm them and let them know how much they're loved and appreciated. And so, yeah, if we get a burden to pray for somebody, definitely do it. But when you come back in connection with someone that you haven't been around for a while, it's a joyful moment, really. It should be. It should be a really joyful moment. And it sounds like it has been that for you. So thank you for your wonderful phone call and leading off here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie from Los Angeles. We appreciate that so very, very much and hope that we'll hear from you again very, very soon. Okay, we'll have an open phone line
happy
there,
Thanksgiving.
Deb. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving early.
Thanks, Ann.
Alrighty.
Okay, bye. Bye. Can I just put a shout out to Dea? Dea, you were on from San Antonio. You had a very interesting story. It sounded like you had to drop. Maybe you got busy. Call back and just tell Ryan you lost your place in line. He'll put you back in because I want to hear your story. Fascinating. I think you were traveling and ran into somebody. So it's very interesting. Similar to what happened with you, Jerry, I think.
Yeah, number is 833-288-3986. If you've just joined us, this is our first Thanksgiving week broadcast, and we're talking about getting reconnected after many, many years with someone through social media or bumping into them or hearing about them or from them. And, were you able to pick up the friendship, the relationship? Was it really, maybe it wasn't of a lot of interest to you? Maybe you were just overjoyed. Maybe you'd been praying for someone and then they resurfaced in your life. 833-288-3986. Okay,
we're going next to Phoebe, and Phoebe's in San Juan Capistrano, California, Sirius XM 130. First time caller, you get the virtual Take Two bell. Hi, Phoebe. Welcome.
Hi. Yes,
Hi.
I'm calling because this topic really pricked my ears. I became a Catholic way back in 1974, before social media and when telephoning was still very expensive. So I became a Catholic in graduate school. I was a convert, and I only knew, I sort of got struck by God. I only knew two people who went to church. They were both Catholic. So I asked them to take me to church with them. I come from a Methodist Baptist background. I just got zapped by the Eucharist, and I said, I've got to become Catholic. Will you be my sponsor? So they sponsored me. I became a Catholic, been practicing ever since. Well, my friend Gloria is her name. She went off to Europe, and we kept corresponding by letter for several years. And then I moved, and somehow she didn't get the letter with my forwarding address. We were separated for like 3 or 4 years. And then finally, the people who bought our house moved. The next people who bought the house noticed that she kept sending letters to me at that address. I kept sending letters to her and praying we'd be reconnected. And they happened to go to my church. They knew my name, and they gave me the letters. We got back together. And so it was a real answer to prayer. And she was in my life for a long time. Unfortunately, she became a Lutheran, left the church, got very embittered after living in Germany for a long time, and finally, I don't know, I think she was, maybe for whatever reason, she became very liberal leftist, and she kind of dumped me because I was still in the church. This is my own sponsor, godmother, whatever you want to call it. And then she said, I'm dropping you. I don't want to have any more correspondence with you. So I have no idea if this person is still living or dead, but she's still a big part of my life. I'm so grateful to the church because instead of taking it as personal hurt, I know we're still connected. I can still pray for her, and whether she's in heaven or whether she's still on earth, I still feel that deep connection, and it's because of faith. So I'm just really grateful for that, even though the human means letters and telephoning, I don't have that, but I'm still connected. So yeah. I just wanted to say that that's one thing I'm really grateful for this Thanksgiving.
Well, bless you for calling in, Phoebe. That was actually an amazing story, except for the unfortunate part at the end where Gloria, like you said, left the Catholic Church. I think you said she became a Lutheran and for whatever reason became somewhat liberal or unorthodox in her thinking or whatever. And I'm so glad that you said you didn't take personally the fact that she said she wanted nothing more to do with you. You were able to look through and kind of cut through that, probably because you're friends. And you were able to kind of see through that, and realize that it wasn't her. It was just kind of the thinking that she had sort of fallen into there. And so, and just the way that the new residents of your house got you those letters and you got back in touch with each other. See, that, Debbie, you always say, Debbie, there's no coincidences. There's nothing happens without a reason. And
That's true.
This story is not over, I have a feeling.
I totally agree. And Phoebe, you talked about taking it to prayer. Absolutely. And prayer connects us. Also, too, maybe ask your guardian angel to go to her guardian angel, and see, if it's possible, if the good Lord allows it, just to kind of tap her, to let her know that you are thinking of her and connecting with her. I think it's beautiful, and so that's the wonderful thing about our God. Amazing things can happen when we do have that full, complete trust in prayer. Phoebe, thank you so much for sharing your story. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a beautiful Thanksgiving. And when we come back, we're getting more to your takes on this wonderful topic about reconnecting after all these years, still friends after all these years, on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Teresa Tomeo.
It's our goal to help each and every listener take this beautiful faith of ours out into the public square with great ideas on making a difference through engaging the culture.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
It's time for Family Man with Dr. Gregory Popcak.
Want better behaved kids? Here's a simple tip to instantly correct almost any inappropriate behavior. Instead of lecturing or wasting time developing increasingly strict or creative punishments, use do-overs to help your child learn to speak and act more appropriately on the spot. For instance, if your child speaks disrespectfully, insist they choose better words and a better tone and make them say it again until they express themselves well. Another example, if your child does a chore sloppily, require them to start over from the beginning, as many times as necessary, until they can demonstrate they know how to do the chore to your expectations. You don't need to yell. Let the do-over do the talking for you. And when they succeed, remember to compliment their effort. Good discipline teaches kids what to do, instead of just telling them what not to do. For more tips to make parenting easier, check out Parenting with Grace. I'm Dr. Greg Popcak, but you can call me Family Man.
To discover more ways faith can enrich your life, visit CatholicCounselors.com.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
And we need to pray for all our world leaders and all those who are in such danger. See, in a day and age where people are getting further away from God, you get further away from goodness. Only God is good. Do you remember what our Lord said one day? Why do you call me good? He said, only God is good. Only God.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. We embrace the essence of feminine spirituality on Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is your show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and you're doing a great job again with another conversation today about being still friends after all these years, talking about reconnecting in some maybe more or less ordinary means. Maybe someone comes across your social media channel, your feed, and you reach out and you get reconnected, or maybe it's a little bit more involved than that, and a little more surprising and unusual. Maybe bumping into somebody in an airport terminal or on a plane or in a supermarket or something. And then how was that for you? Did you really feel still that connection with that person? 833-288-3986. Debbie, let's go to Diane, who is in Lewisburg, North Carolina, listening on Divine Mercy Catholic Radio. Hi, Diane. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mine's going to be kind of short and sweet, but just amazing. I grew up in Virginia and went to a all-girl Catholic nursing school in the 1970s and had a friend there who was non-Catholic, but she lived in the area, so I kind of got adopted by her family, and they brought me to her house. And it's really where I learned about a little bit more about Christians that weren't Catholic, because I had been so sheltered with being in Catholic schools and everything else all my life. I really hadn't experienced any of it. But 40 years later, I moved to North Carolina, and she had moved to North Carolina, and we were walking. We're both nurses, and I was walking down the hall, and she was walking the other direction. We hadn't seen each other since graduation.
Wow. So what was that encounter? What was that first encounter like? Did you like scream? Did you hug each other? What did you do, or just kind of stare at one another?
Kind of. Well, I actually saw her first, and I recognized her because, and I just said her first name, and it was like, and I always introduce myself. I don't want to leave somebody like, you don't know who I am kind of stuff. So It immediately was a reconnection, surprised, because that was the first week I had worked at that hospital. I'd been in other places in North Carolina, but that was my first week there. And, and we've stayed in touch. I don't work at the hospital anymore, but we still email, and I'm not a social network person at all. And so we email, and we try to at least 4 or 5 times a year meet, have lunch together, and go over all the things that have happened in our life. And we actually crossed paths before. She had to have some serious surgery at a major teaching institution, which is where I worked before the last hospital. And so she was probably somebody that I walked by in a room but never knew that she was there. It unique. And then because of that, she had more connections back to the nursing school because her parents still lived there. And so we went back to reunions and that kind of stuff together. So it's reconnected. In my mind, she was better at keeping up with people. In my mind, I reconnected with a whole lot of my classmates and stuff like that because of it.
Wow, Diane, what a beautiful story. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you said she was better at keeping up with people than you, but it sounds like God allowed you now through her to keep up or at least get back in touch with a lot of these people. So that must be really, really cool. But I've had experiences similar to that where you're walking along and you see somebody and you're just sure that it's them, but you're not positive. And I don't know, something in me, I think maybe I shy away and maybe don't say anything. But it sounds like for you, Diane, it was unmistakable. She must have looked considerably like she had the last time you had seen her, it sounds like.
Yep. Fortunately, she's a little short, and so that was part of it. Both of us have gained weight over the years and circumstances and stuff like that. And I think the other thing is that both of us have had some things happen in our life but we could go back and discuss all of that with somebody that we really, I can tell you the Catholic nursing school, which is now closed, was really rough. I figured if I could put up with those nuns, I could probably put up with anything I had to put up with later in life. And so because we were a group that always were together and did really well as a group, it didn't matter what had happened in our life. It was that we were always going to be back to that group. And it was like that even when we went back to the reunions. It was just like, oh. Yeah.
Do you know what I think is so beautiful about your situation when meeting her is that when you think about it, sometimes we feel like such a little speck in this big, gigantic world, but then we realize when things like this happen, how small the world can be and how incredibly intimate it can be. And when our God is in the middle of it, it's pretty incredible. So I love stories like this. I could listen to this all day long. I think this is why they've made so many Hallmark movies about this. Wouldn't you agree, Diane?
Yeah, I do. It's just amazing because it was not anything I would have ever expected.
Right.
Ever.
I love it. Beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it with us. We really appreciate it. Okay, now you can get started with your Thanksgiving week, okay?
Okay, you guys have a nice holiday too.
Bless you, Diane. Thanks for calling in. 833-288-3986. Getting reconnected after many years is what we're talking about today. And all of you hang on the line. We have time to get to every one of you in the order that you call. So Donna would be next in Gallatin, Tennessee, listening on iHeartRadio, the app on her phone. Hi, Donna. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. Y'all have prayed a lot for me this year, and I appreciate that. But I'm going to take a completely different tack with the subject today of reconnecting with something that happened to me on Ancestry.com. Growing up, there were 3 of us daughters. My dad was older. This was his second marriage. And we never talked about the first marriage. We never even brought it up. Nothing was said. It was a taboo subject. And when I was about 10 years old, I found out that when my dad went to the Marines in World War II, he left a 4-year-old child and a wife behind that he thought would be there when he came back. His wife, in addition to him being under fire from the Japanese every day, his wife was peppering him with legal papers to divorce and to give up all rights to his child, which he resisted consistently over and over. She was 4 years old. She had a relationship. They had a relationship. He was not considering this at all. He finally relented, and he never saw his child again. And once we learned as teenagers of this story, we were very, very bitter towards a woman that would do this to my daddy. And so we wanted nothing to do with any of them should they ever surface, but it was so unlikely in the pre-ancestry, pre-internet days that you would ever cross paths with these people that we never did really think about it. But as loyal daughters, we were like, we don't want anything to do with that mean woman or her child. They hurt my dad. Well, fast forward to the internet age and Ancestry.com, which I am on and my husband is absolutely devoted to. And I get a message one day and it asks, does anyone, if for any information at all about, and then my dad's name, years 1940 to 1945. And my blood just kind of ran cold because I thought, this can only be somebody reaching out from that family. Why? I'm 64 years old. My dad has been dead 30 years. But I answered it, and it was my dad's granddaughter. It was the daughter of the daughter that he never saw again after he was divorced. And, she told me that her mother had always wanted to find my dad, her real father, that the marriage and the adoption, the man was mean to her, that even though she came in second runner-up to Miss Florida, for example, he berated her and told her she was a loser. And she always thought her real dad might have been nicer, and he would have. And so my finding the girl that has the same grandfather as my own child, we have connected last year. We met each other. My dad was an artist. This girl teaches art in a high school in Virginia. We couldn't be more unlike each other. She's an atheist. She's in a same-sex relationship. And I pray about that. But outside of that, she is a sweet, caring, loving person that we have so much in common. And we are sad, but we are happy we found each other.
Wow, Donna, this has to, you probably, I can't imagine the range of emotions that you are still going through and certainly have as this whole drama has unfolded. And it just speaks to me of, thank God that we have tools like the internet and Ancestry.com and things like that. My brother uses it a lot. I never really have. But it just shows, I think, the human spirit to find our roots, our connections, whom we're related to, especially when we know that things like this have gone on in our lives. And never knowing, really, Debbie and Donna, what the outcome is going to be. If I do find this person or that person or whatever, what's it going to be like? Where are they now? Who's the type of person that they are now? And it sounds like in many, many ways, it's almost like like father, like daughter. It sounds like he's very much like your dad, and we certainly will join you in praying for the lifestyle issues and so forth. But we're so glad. It's a beautiful thing that you've gotten reconnected with her, and you can be a tremendous, tremendous influence on her, I believe.
Yeah, and you definitely have an open heart about this, which is beautiful. Donna, real quickly, we have a lot of folks that are texting in just trying to make sure they can kind of grasp the story. So your dad had a relationship during when he was serving in the World War II, and then
He was married and had this daughter. Yeah.
Okay, he was married and had a little girl, and then this other woman, this wife, went on with her life. She divorced your dad, so he had no contact with this little girl, and then here comes this daughter of this child who is the granddaughter who comes and finds you through Ancestry.com. Now, is the mother, has she passed away, Donna?
She passed away about 10 or 15 years ago. That would be my half sister.
Your half sister. Okay. Well, you know what? I think, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you, but there's a reason that this happened, and then with her, and with her spiritual state where she's at, you can be a great, great influence on her. And obviously with her reaching out first, she wanted that. And so now you have that connection, and that blood connection. And I think that is really important. So this story is still unfolding. And I'll tell you what, I think, I don't know, I just have a really good feeling about the outcome. I think, Donna, this is an amazing story. And by you sharing it, I think you're helping others as well, because others may not have as dramatic of a story as yours, with the way you found each other, but we all have a place that we can play in somebody else's life, especially their spiritual life, when we've been disconnected somehow and then reconnected. And I think this is important. And so please keep us posted. We're going to be continuing to pray for you, Donna, in all ways, all of your intentions, but especially for this right now, if you could just keep us posted. Yes,
I will. But it's interesting the different reactions people have. There's 3 of us daughters, and we all had the same narrative growing up. That this woman was horrible. She hurt my daddy. We didn't think about, wonder what the child is thinking, or wonder what she's thinking as she's growing up. She would have been like 10 or 15 years older than me. So there's an age gap there. There's a gap there. She would have been a teenager when I was born.
Right.
But my sister is also on Ancestry.com. She saw the same message. She wants nothing to do with them whatsoever. I hesitated, but something told me to answer that, and it has been a blessing in my life. I mean, to know that my dad, a very talented artist, studied in Los Angeles, and his granddaughter teaches art. And she was so thrilled to have some of his drawings and sketches and things. And, she would have never known that, never known that maybe this is inherited. It's been an interesting little study. And for her to find me and me be able to supply some things, she had no idea of her, her ancestry background on my dad's side, her blood side.
Right. Right.
It's been very interesting.
Right. Well, Donna, real quickly, did you notice at the beginning, my first comment is I said, thank you for being so open, have an openness of heart. The reason why I said that is because when things like that come up from people's past, they may not want to revisit it. They may not want to enter into it because there's too much pain there. That's why I said, thank you for being open to it. The other thing too is Jerry and I do a lot of speaking events and missions and stuff on mercy. Okay. And we want mercy from God, but yet sometimes we're hesitant to give mercy to others. See, what I see that what you're doing is you're practicing exactly what we want from God, Donna. And I think that's beautiful. This gal reached out. She wanted some kind of mercy, and you gave it to her. And look what's unfolding. This is a beautiful thing. Your sister's just not at that place, and that's okay. That's where she's at. But you know what? When she sees maybe what's happening with you and what's transpiring, that might soften her heart a bit, just to at least maybe just be open, not maybe to a relationship, but just open to hearing more about it. So I just think I think what's happening with you is a beautiful unfolding and a real great exercise and lesson in mercy on both ends. I think it's beautiful. And I just say more power to you. I think that just goes to show what a beautiful soul you are.
Well, thank you very much. I thought that y'all would find that interesting, and that some of the listeners would find it interesting. If you get on Ancestry.com and do your DNA and all of that, you don't know what might happen.
True, very true.
To me, but it has been a blessing. I mean, in her own way. It's just, she was terrified. She was afraid we would reject her, that we wouldn't want anything to do with her. And I said, yeah, we kind of grew up with the attitude of anybody that would hurt my daddy, we don't want anything to do with them. I said, but, then something like this happens, you respond, and you find that if you'll just open, as you say, open your heart to it and see where God leads you with it, you don't know. God's in charge. Let him take the reins for this thing and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Donna, you may not even know in this life, hopefully you'll get some glimpses of it, but you may not know how much you have changed this woman's life, and in many ways for the better. So we're going to pray for that. We'll keep praying for you, Donna. We're always lifting you up in your intentions, and we know that you're a part of the Take Two praying family as well. So we thanks for calling in today. We appreciate it so very much.
That's important, Jerry, because when I said, Heather, don't worry, I said, my dad and your mom are together in heaven. And she said, well, I don't believe that. Well, I do. We need to pray that she will believe that.
Mm-hmm. And we can all be joined together in praying for that. So Take Two family, there's a real important intention for all of us here today. And we keep every one of the Take Two family in our prayers, and we rely on yours, not just me and Debbie, but the show team as well. Thank you, Donna, so much. Got to scoot along here. We got Doris next in Penasco, New Mexico, listening on the EWTN app, and a first-time caller. Hi, Doris. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, Doris. How are you?
Doing good. Just listening to the story this morning, I had to call in and share. I know a lot of people call it coincidences, but I refer to them as God incidences. So I wanted to call in and share my story. About 10 years ago, we were fostering a couple of kids, and it was part of the adoption process that we were going through, and it's called respite care. So we had two siblings. Probably back then they were probably 3 and 5. So we would have them on the weekend. So we had them for 4 weekends. And so after we adopted and they got out of we kind of got out of the fostering care system, we would pray for these two kids that were with us for those 4 weekends. And they were just adorable little kids, but they also had issues and stuff like that. But about a month ago, we were wondering, I wonder whatever became of those kids, what they look like and where they are. So we're constantly praying for them. So I recently started substituting at these schools, and God put me in this place for a certain reason, and I always wondered why it was. I thought it was my purpose to bring a smile to the kids and just to make their day enjoyable. But now I know why he put me there. I started substituting at the school, and one morning I was praying for all the kids at school. And when I saw these two kids that were new to the school, for some reason I had this happy feeling about them, and I couldn't shake that feeling every time I'd see them. So one morning I was praying for all the students as I was getting ready to go substitute, and God put this thought in my mind that these two kids that are constantly on my mind and that I had this little happy feeling when I would see them, I thought, I wonder if these two kids are the ones we fostered, because the little girl was dark-complected with curly hair, and now she is in middle school, but she still has the curly hair. But I didn't know how to kind of ask, so God planted that little thought in my mind. And so we were making conversation with the kids about, how did you come to Penasco? Do you like it here? Because they're new to the... So they mentioned that CYFD reunited them with their father. So then that opened the door to ask them if they were the same kids that we had 10 years ago. And it turns out that they are. So there's a little reconnection there, and I'm hoping that we can continue a relationship with them from 10 years ago. And so they were open to talking about it, and the older sibling does remember coming to the house and staying with us. So I just wanted to call in and share that story today.
Wow. Well,
And
I'm a
I call
mess.
these God incidences and not coincidences.
Yeah, totally a God incident. And Doris, I'm a mess. I mean, I can't stop the tears. I mean, how beautiful that you get to reunite with them, the children that you cared for during that time, and so I'm gonna be praying very intensely that the good Lord gives you those opportunities for you to establish a friendship with these wonderful children, and I hope they're open to it, because love is beautiful. It really is. And when it's spread, when it continues in various forms, it is constantly showing God, and God is love, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think what's happening there, like with the previous callers, it's still unfolding, and I can't wait to hear the next kind of the next chapter of this, Doris, just to see maybe some fun times you guys get to have together, or even just watching them grow up even more. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. But I'm a total mess. It's terrible. I don't know what it is with the older I've gotten, Doris. I cry at all these things, so I don't know, but please forgive me, but it's a good cry.
I do too, and I was holding back the tears just so I could get my story through. But yes, these kids are adorable, and they do remember. The little boy remembers that every time they'd leave, every Monday morning, they'd pick him up before we'd go to work. And he remembers that every time they would come pick him up, I'd be crying, and he wouldn't understand why I was crying. So I told him I'd cry because you guys were leaving.
Oh, yeah. Well, now they're back. Now they're back. I think that's beautiful.
Well, and Doris, did you say that the reason they were in the area there was because they got reunited with their father? Did I hear you say that?
Yes, they did share that CYFD did reunite them with their father.
Okay.
So that was a blessing. That is good.
Yeah. Well, the reason I was asking is because, God used you and your family really as a very important bridge in their lives. And how many young people in the foster system and abandoned kids and so forth don't get that opportunity to have that sort of safety net that can, kind of catch them until whatever happens, they're reunited with their parents, or a better situation comes along. So, Doris, I can understand your tears, because you've got a beautiful, beautiful heart, and you were the perfect ones that God had selected just for that purpose of getting those young kids through that period in their lives till the point where they were reunited with their father. So,
and now the kids have more love around them. You know, I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, they do. Yes.
It's all good. What a great, yours is a great Thanksgiving week call, when we're supposed to be so grateful for everything that we have in our life. And then to hear this wonderful story, it warms your heart, and it's a good thing. Thank you, Doris, for taking the time and sharing this beautiful story. To keep us posted, please. Everybody, as a matter of fact, keep us posted. We want to journey with you. You can always email us at take2@ewtn.com. Have a happy, happy Thanksgiving, Doris. God bless you.
God bless you too. You too.
Okay, thank you. Boy, I said a while ago we'd try to get everybody on, and we are just less than a minute away from the closing music. Mary in Jerome, Michigan, and Cheryl in North Platte, Nebraska. If you can email us your stories, we would absolutely love to hear them. It would be unfair to you to try to get you on and squeeze out what I'm sure are beautiful, beautiful accounts of being reunited in just a very, very short period of time. So apologies for that. But Debbie, you did mention Thanksgiving week, and we have a short week.
Yes.
We're going to do 3 live shows, and we're doing something a little bit different tomorrow. I just thought people might be able to relate to this, since we all stock up the house fridge and the fridge and freezer in the garage, and we use the neighbor's fridge and for all of those Thanksgiving feasts. But this is not just about the holidays, but folks, how do you stretch your food dollar? We're called to be good stewards of everything that God gives us, and that means, among other things, not wasting food. So we're going to have a little bit of a lighter-hearted conversation tomorrow, but a very serious one as well. And then, Debbie, on Wednesday, we're talking about holidays just aren't the same. What has changed your holidays forever?
Ooh.
It could be death of a family member who's no longer around. Could be an argument that you have with a family member. Legal issues, being snowed in or snowed out. So those are the 2 live shows that are coming up for us tomorrow and Wednesday.
Wow. Okay, these are going to be good ones. And so we just want to thank everybody who participated today and also who are emailing us, texting us, sending us YouTube and Facebook comments. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, Jerry and Debbie Facebook. We're having the wrap up today from our book club on Facebook today. So many things are happening with Jerry and Debbie. Stay posted on jerryanddebbie.com. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.